me was the newspaper. It says Pearl Harbor bombed, and Jap bombers bombed Pearl Harbor. And I had the funniest feeling all of a sudden. I felt like everybody and their uncle was looking at me. So I hurried home, and when I got to Japantown, the place looked as though it was deserted. I could see extra police cars in the area, and suddenly I began to see FBI agents, and had a completely different feeling all of a sudden. I suddenly felt insecure.
I remember being approached by two gentlemen from the Federal Bureau of Investigation who said they had a presidential warrant for my arrest and I must come along with them. As well, I want to call my lawyer. No time for that. I want to call my wife. She was 9 months pregnant. I was in for 11 days and nights. My wife thought I was dead.
America was at war on two fronts. 3 days after the Japanese attack, Germany and Italy had declared war on the United States. In the tense atmosphere that followed, authorities viewed Japanese Americans in California as a security risk. Many of the most prominent were arrested immediately. 2 months after Pearl Harbor, Roosevelt signed an executive order authorizing the evacuation of all persons of Japanese descent from the now vulnerable areas of the Pacific coast. More than 100,000 men, women, and children, 2/3 of them American citizens, were taken to government relocation camps.
You can't understand it unless you live through it. Now it seems like a dreadful thing to do. But we didn't know. I mean, all of a sudden this attack had come. We didn't know. It was obvious that somebody was telling them where the warships were.
Well, I wrote editorials about that, and I was indignant. I didn't like it. I felt they did it to the Japanese because they weren't white. And I also mentioned in my editorials that there were a lot of Germans, and Italians here. I said they weren't interning them.
I remember a Japanese-American friend of mine having a farewell party at her house. I remember weeping in saying goodbye, and we were all very sad, but nobody protested. Very few people anywhere protested, and I guess it was because we thought it was important to the war effort or to unity on the home front.
I was at the YMCA in Japantown the day that most of them were evacuated. And here are these people carrying bags, things wrapped up, say, in a blanket. That was all they were taking, what they could carry. And it was a perfectly awful thing to look at. Just perfectly awful.
When I think of what really happened, the destruction of the Japanese community, the destruction of the family relationship, the price that was paid by the Japanese American was very high.